Damon Jackson, September 17th, you're back in action. UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas. Are you looking forward to fighting at the UFC Apex again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to get out there and be around some fans. It's been a while since I've had like a full crowd. It's nice to get that small, like intimate crowd where it's like 60, 70 people, and you can hear people that cheering and everything. And I always have a lot of people that go to the fights. It's just I'm ready to hear it all. Like I've been to a few events since all this has been going on since I've been back in the UFC, and it's just it's so different when you hear the fans and you hear people, screaming, yelling for whoever, and just it's such a cool feeling.
Do you get FOMO when you went to the events, but you don't get to actually compete in front of the crowd?
Nah, I'm not a
Nah.
hater. It's hard for me to ever get like that. I'm just like I'll be ready when the day happens. I just I take it for what it is. Like I get to be there and hear my coach really well, so I can like follow my rules, better when I'm in the apex. And there's pros to it because you usually fight earlier in the day, so that means that you get to like hang out with family and friends afterwards, and it's not so late. And there's pros and cons to both for sure.
Do you usually have your family at fights?
Just my wife and my immediate family, like my mom, my dad, my wife always go to my fights, and then I have some really good friends that have been going to all my fights at the Apex. So it's a small group, but definitely bring a little crowd when I go there. So it's pretty cool to have some people there that know me well, and I'm hoping to pick up some more fans. After one or two more fights, I should be a fan favorite. I'm gonna this fight. I'm ready for this one. It's gonna be a good fight.
The reason why I ask is last weekend we saw Kamaru Usman get head kicked and knocked out in front of his daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
nah,
McGregor comes out and says, "Ah, man, that's not something cool. Like I don't think I'm gonna take my
yeah,
kids to the fights anymore." Is that why you don't
nah.
have your kids there?
So me, I'm a grown adult. I've been doing this for however many years, like a long time, 2009. So like I've been doing it all these years, and whenever I go watch someone that I'm just watching in the stands that I know, like a teammate that I know really well, or if I'm watching them on TV, like I want everyone around me to shut up. I want to be like I want to be by myself, really just watching it, and it's so there's so much emotion going on when someone in there. Like it's not normal for someone to get hit in the face. So it's like when you got a little kid trying to like when we tell them their whole childhood, you're like, don't hit your sister, don't say that, don't do this, and then you get on TV and you're talking shit to your opponent, and then you get out there and you punch each other in the face, and then it's like there's blood everywhere, but then you're happy and you're like you're high fiving the guy when it's done. So I think kids can't really comprehend it. I think that maybe seventh, maybe eighth grade, they can start kind of like watching it and like become a good fan. But when you're that young, you really don't understand what you're watching. And when you see your dad or your mom out there getting punched in the face, it's not normal. My kids will never go to my fight. I told my oldest daughter, she's the eighth grader this year, and she actually just started wrestling last year. And I think that she would be ready to watch it, but she still can't even watch my fight live at the house, like on TV. She won't watch it live. She'll watch it when the fight's over, but she won't watch it live. So
Yeah.
I know they're not ready. I would never bring my kids, and people do. I have a lot of people that I know that I train with that bring their kids there, and it's just not how I do it. Everybody does it different though.
Yeah. As a father, I would step back and say that could be pretty traumatic for the kid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We're not
yeah.
really thinking about that. You know what the long lasting effects. We always hear about
Mm.
PTSD, and
No,
that
I
could be
mean,
something.
100%, man, 100%. No, it's sketchy. Yeah, you never
Yeah,
know
it
what's gonna
is.
happen.
Turning the attentions back to you, 4-1 inside the octagon since your return to the organization in 2020. How do you feel about the streak you're on right now, man?
Hey man, this is just me being me. Like I want to stay active. I want to be out there fighting, with some of the best people I can, and I can hang with so many guys in the division. I can, beat so many of the guys in the division. I don't want to be an asshole and say that I can beat everyone, but like every time I have a fight, I just see so many things that I'm better at than whoever I'm going up against, and like this is just this is that fight that I can come out and stand out on because he's on a 4-fight win streak. I'm on a 3-fight win streak. the winner of this fight goes on to, be in the top 15 and fight those kind of guys. So this is a very important fight for me. I'll be ready to go. I know he will be too. He always is. And it's going to be a good fight.
Pat Sabatini. That's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's 4-0 in the UFC, undefeated.
Yeah.
Man, it's this fight when they announced it, I was like, I know what they're doing with this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out who's the next guy they're going to push to fight somebody with a name or in the top 15, something like that. Do you feel like that's what it is?
100%. Yep, 100%. That's why I've been laser focused on it and really pushing myself and pushing my body to the max and making sure that there's no issues with anything, weight cut, rehydration, conditioning, nothing. So, I'm just doing as much as I can now, prepping for it, and I'll be ready to go.
All right. What do you think about his skill set and fighting style? If I could predict anything, I think you'd like his style.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that wants to wrestle me and anybody that wants to press me up against the cage and put me in that wrestling kind of scrappy jiu-jitsu position, let's go. I think that this is why, Sean Shelby's so good at his job is because, you could look at this fight and think that it's going to be a real boring fight, but I think it's going to be the complete opposite. I think it's going to be very scrambly for wrestling and jiu-jitsu positions. And then, we might find ourselves slugging it out on the feet too, because, we're both going to be tough wrestlers to take down and tough to submit. So it's going to be a scrap for sure.
Your last fight, you controlled your opponent on the ground. You got the win. Was that a perfect fight to kind of lead into this one?
No, man, that was so frustrating. I was so frustrated with that performance because I had such a good weight cut and I had a really good camp, and I was training for Derek Minner. And so it was a little bit of a different fight. And whenever they gave me the opponent change, I was like, you know what? I don't really care. I knew this was going to happen. I called it out. Before as soon as I got the matchup, I called it out. I did an interview the next week after I got the matchup, and I already said he was going to pull out, and he did. And then, going into that fight, I was like, you know what? This is not a bad idea just to go out there and fight another wrestler, fight another grappler, and win this fight. And, and I dominated him with that. But, I was so frustrated because something was going on with my legs where they felt like bricks. It was crazy. I was walking out to the cage. So my game plan was going to be to box him the whole fight and to kick when the opportunity was there. And my legs, while I was walking out to the cage, I just kind of looked at my coach and I didn't say a word to him, but I was like, I'm completely changing our game plan. I'm going to wrestle this whole fight. And then I ended up taking him down so easy. And then I had his back so quickly and I just couldn't engage my lower body and I couldn't engage my grip. It was something weird. And I think it was my rehydration. I think that's where I screwed up because I had such a good weight cut. It was so easy, or it's not easy, but the weight came off. And so it was really frustrating to not perform the way that I trained because I did train really hard for that and I was ready to go.
There's frustration there, but is there a certain level of respect that you gained for him because he defended so well? You weren't able to submit him?
Yeah. 100. I would never take anything away from him. He took the fight on a short notice and he didn't allow me to submit him. And that's something that I pride myself on, finding those finishes. So, he did a good job, but I wasn't super active. I wasn't transitioning from choke to choke or from position to position. I just had his back the whole time, and I wasn't really, breaking through with a good rig choke, or I wasn't coming through with the head and arm, or I wasn't doing a lot. He did do a good job, and I didn't submit him, so I can't, talk crap on him, and I would never because he took the fight on short notice, and he's a tough kid for sure. But that wasn't my best performance. So, I'll be ready for this next one.
And after this fight, your left eye looked pretty beat up, man. Was there any lasting damage on that?
Nah, it was just he was doing this punching over his shoulder, and his thumb bone was hit me right in the eye, perfect. So it was instantly swelled up, but really very superficial, maybe 3 or 4 days of black eye, and it was down.
The other day in sparring, I got punched in the throat. I took a right hook in the throat. Yo, it lasted for the whole week. I thought I had a disease or something because when I swallowed,
yeah.
What's the like in sparring, right?
Yeah.
Where do you least likely to get hit? Because I think now I already know it's the throat.
I kind of always go back to the nut shot. I like that's something, and then like accidental eye pokes that really pisses me off. If someone accidentally pokes me in the eye, I'm gonna fuck them up. Like I'm gonna like hurt them, and I'm gonna try to hurt them. I'm gonna like take a rib out or take a leg out because I'm like, dude, you poke my eye and I lose my eye, like I'm done fighting. Like fuck that. Like you keep your fingers in, make a fist. It's not that hard, and so that really pisses me off the most. But I would say like the most pain is the nut shot still for me. I haven't got hit in the throat though, so that's
And
different.
luckily that throat shot is it's not good. But yeah, with camp, man, anything different for you this time around?
I lost one of my really good training partners. I'm no longer training, or he's no longer training with our team, so that's huge. But I've been working with Abdul, man, and he's such a good wrestler, and he's such a good stand up. He's great style matchup for Pat. He's very identical the way he fights, and he's fighting the week after me, so he's been prepping for his fight. And we're both doing rounds. We're both, grappling, wrestling together, and doing all of our stuff together. So it's been really helpful. And then, we always got Peterson and Fernie and EJ, right there in the mix of, training with us. I'll be ready to go for sure.
Who left?
No, yeah, I mean, it'll come out
Just
eventually. When
okay.
he takes his next fight, he won't have
The
the
team.
sacred Fortis logo on there anymore. And
Okay.
he's doing his own thing, and he's got his own life to live. And I don't hold anything against him. I think he could have done it a different way for sure. I think he had everyone's respect on the team for so many years, and then he kind of like let it all go at the very end and just pulled some shady shit. And he's doing his own thing, and that's great. And he's no longer with the team, so.
Your prediction for the matchup, man. How do you see yourself picking up the victory? Because that'll be 4 in a row. That's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just it's very motivating. I see myself going out there. There's no secrets in my game plan. I'm going to be in everybody's face, and I'm going to be taking the fights to the ground 100%. There's, he's got some great jiu-jitsu, great wrestling defense, and, the fight's going to go to the ground eventually, one way or the other. And I'll be game. I see myself subbing him first or second round.
And hopefully people will start calling you out more, right? That's
I'm
where you want to
here.
be.
Call me
Yeah.
out, homie. I don't get on Twitter, but I will if I don't have a fight, I'll get on there and talk shit. So I don't really get on Twitter a lot, but every once in a while, I don't even have my notifications turned on. Every once in a while, I'll get on there and see if someone's like said something that no one ever does. And so when I don't have a fight, I kind of get on there and I'm watching the fight card and I'll say smart off something or whatever. So anyone wants to call me out, hit Sean Shelby up and tag him in it, whatever, and we'll get going.
Yeah, I'm enjoying your return to social media, man, because you've
Yeah.
been gone away from it for so long that
Yeah,
when
I've
you
only
return,
had it for
everybody's
like
like, he's
6 months.
returned, he's returned.
Yeah, I've only had it for like 6 months. It's pretty funny because it's like, it's fun, but it's like, it's just so immature to like, do all the nonsense. I don't think I've posted in like 2 or 3 months, so I'll probably get in trouble by the UFC for that. But, like as long as I win fights, I don't really think it's super important. But if I don't have a fight, that's when I start talking crap, and that's when I post a lot, is when I don't have a fight. So as long as I'm staying consistent, you probably won't see a lot from me.
All right, man. September 17th, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Damon Jackson is back in action. Damon, thank you so much, man, for the time. All the
For
best in the
sure.
fight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.